Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit all over the place. We're going to be covering Cyberpunk. We will cover the rumored Splinter Cell remake, and I think we would also cover just a general discussion on like what classic franchises people would want to see come back. So yeah, let's get into it. No wasting time. So Cyberpunk again. It's been had a good resurgence ever since they released the Edgerunners anime. I did throw up the trailer for that up on the video channel. The video for that up on the channel. And I think ever since the big boom, they've had 1 million concurrent players each day since then, which is pretty massive. And I don't think we've seen a spike like this since The Witcher 3. So if you remember, The Witcher 3 had a little downtime, when the game was dying down, and then they released The Witcher HBO show, and boom! I don't even know if it's like people who've never played the game or people who played the game and then stopped coming back to it. Whenever like a show drops, we just see a game spike in concurrent players, because I think everyone, either everyone gets like super excited or super hyped. It gets introduced to like a new audience, maybe some people who would have never given Cyberpunk a chance after the whole launch debacle. So again, it's good to see CD Projekt Red bounce back. Again, I am someone who bought the game at launch. I played about I played it 4 times, I think. And not 4 times as in 4 sittings, but 3 stories. So I played each of the story paths, and then I played a 4th story path as a street kid, I think. But yeah, so I had a really good time with the game. The bugs were super annoying, and it's a shame that the game actually released in that state, because now if you actually play the game, I have been throwing up some shorts on my channel of just like roaming around in Night City and that kind of thing. It's still, it's still got some work to do, but where the game is now to where it was at launch is vastly different. And it's actually a shame, because this is the state that they could have launched in. I still think they've still got a lot of work to do in terms of repairing what happened, but this is a state that the game should have been able to launch into. But again, the impressive numbers were announced by CDPR, and I think they said each day of this week, Night City has been visited by 1 million players, both new and returning. And we wanted to use this opportunity to thank you for being with us and playing the game. Thanks, Chooms. So yeah, it's just good to see Cyberpunk get a resurgence. I think, like I was saying, most people are coming in. I think a lot of people are coming in as newcomers, given they probably just watched the Edgerunners anime and they hadn't given Cyberpunk a chance. So it's good to see a game get new life after release. And I hope that, this new life coming to the game doesn't stop CDPR from continuously bettering the game and improving on what should have been a really successful launch in gaming history, but it ended up being one of the most soured launches ever in history because of just corporate greed and the corporate wigs at the top, which is ironic given the environment that the game is actually set in, where it's like a dystopian future where the corporations have taken over. That is the Cyberpunk theme. But yeah, if CDPR had just been patient, probably listened to the devs, waited, foregone a little bit of instant money, instant profit, instant gratification in order to actually release a polished game, things would have turned out different for them in the long run. And on to our second story, we will be covering Splinter Cell. Apparently, Splinter Cell is eventually going to get a remake that's going to update the story for a more modern audience. And so what we're hearing is that the Splinter Cell remake will be rewritten to make it more relevant to the modern audience, and I don't even know necessarily what that means with regards to the story. They could just mean certain themes and everything, whereas maintaining the integrity of the story within itself. Personally, I would love to see them do more like a Resident Evil style remake where it's from the ground up, but it's not really from the ground up, because it still maintains the look and feel of the original game, but basically bringing it into a modern graphics engine, modern mechanics, a lot more polished, and little tweaks, quality of life tweaks throughout. And so I think the first time this news was spotted is because a job listing was posted up looking for a scriptwriter for an upcoming Splinter Cell game, and So yeah, it looks like they're gonna rewrite it a little bit just to update it. And it says they would be using the first Splinter Cell game as a foundation to rewrite and update the story for a modern audience. We want to keep the spirit and themes of the original game while exploring our characters and the world to make them more authentic and believable. So Splinter Cell was originally released in 2002. It brought to us the famous Sam Fisher, an NSA agent who's investigating the disappearance of 2 CIA officers. And as the story unfolds, Sam finds himself in the middle of a plot full of political intrigue, espionage, and all of that as the world teeters on the brink of world war. And it's up to Sam to use his stealthy abilities to avert a global crisis. So again, for me, Splinter Cell, one of my favorite games growing up. I would love for there to be a remake. Do I trust Ubisoft? Not really. Would I still love a remake? Yes. And I would hope that Ubisoft would actually give it the care and attention that it deserves and not end up trying to monetize it like they just do all their other franchises, where they fill it with endless loot boxes and just needless things. I'm talking to you, Assassin's Creed. They keep filling it with just needless shit. I'll say it, needless fucking shit that's not needed in the game, and they just add it all up, and then it ends up just making the game terrible. And so yeah, either give us a good remake or just don't remake it at all. Leave it at that. And our final story of the day, what classic franchises would we like to see a comeback with? And again, I pose this question to people in the comments. What old game would you like to see brought back or remade, that kind of thing? Piggybacking off the discussion we just had, Splinter Cell. I would love to see Splinter Cell come back if it came back in an actual true form to the original game. And again, breathing new life into classic games is often a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, the game is familiar with audiences, so it'll already have a fan base that'll be excited to see it make a return. But there's always the risk that the updated version won't live up to the memories of the original. Cough, cough, Grand Theft Auto trilogy. We'll leave it at that. But successful or not, year after year, we see more and more developers attempt to breathe life into all the franchises, with hopes of returning, to previous glory days. Also, getting some much needed fanfare, just like reviving a game to a new audience. Speaking of which, The Last of Us Remake again. Some people argued that was a little too early, given that the game was only 9 years old, but hey, it is what it is. Naughty Dog did well on that, so those who want to buy it. Those who want to wait for it to drop in price, they'll wait. So again, on the list of these games, we have Metal Gear Solid, we have Silent Hill, we have Twisted Metal, we have Siphon Filter. That's also one that I would really actually like to see remade. Games of my own that I would add to this: Jak and Daxter, Soul Calibur. A lot of games. What else? Fucking Midnight Club. I wouldn't mind that to be fully remade. I would say LA Noire, but that recently got, like a little facelift. Not really a remake. Mafia, we had our Mafia remake. That was really well done. Resident Evil have also, I'm saying Resident Evil, Capcom have done a really good job of going back to the Resident Evil franchise, and giving those games a new facelift for the new audience. Ratchet and Clank got new facelifts. And so with that in mind, what minimum amount of time should pass for a game or franchise for it to be able to get a remaster or remake? Since people tend to say, oh, it's too early or it's too late. And what remastered games have come back and captured the original essence for you? In my case, like I said, Mafia remakes are really well done. I truly love that, especially Mafia 1 and 2. 3, I still have a love-hate relationship with Mafia 3 because really good story, repetitive, boring gameplay. So, man, it is what it is. Resident Evil remakes, I think, are arguably the best remakes on the market, I would say. I don't think a company has done better We had Demon Souls got remade, Shadow of the Colossus got remade, so many more. The Last of Us that we just spoke about. But yeah, I still think Resident Evil 2 and 3, those were by far, from what the originals were to what they did with the remakes, chef's kiss. Couldn't do anything wrong. So again, let me know in the comments, what are some of your favorite games that came back after a long hiatus? Which franchises would you like to see come back that aren't in the works to get remade? And again, for me, I would say Jak and Daxter. That's the one for me. I would love to see Jak 1, Jak 2, all of them. Just do them from the ground up. So not necessarily get like the Crash Bandicoot treatment, but modernize them completely to give us like that Ratchet and Clank look and feel. I would pay good money for that. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what other games would you want to see remade? What have been your most enjoyable remakes so far in terms of what you've seen companies do so far? And do you think there should be a time frame placed on when a game can be remade or remastered, that kind of thing? Let me know in the comments. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay dangerous, and peace out.